If you've been dreaming of retiring to Mexico on just your Social Security check, we need to have a serious talk.
The goalposts have moved. In fact, they haven't just moved. They have been ripped out of the ground completely. Hi everyone, I'm Bill Hare and welcome back to Affordable Retirement Abroad. Last week we looked at the incredible Train Maya and my upcoming research trip to affordable retirement destinations in the Yucatán. But after reading your comments and digging into the latest Mexican government decrees for 2026, I realized we need to address the elephant in the room. Is Mexico still a realistic option for retirees with a limited income? A few years ago, you could get residency in Mexico with an income of around $2,000 a month. Today, depending on who you ask, that number has doubled or more. Does this mean Mexico is off the table if you don't have a rich pension? Not necessarily, but the strategy has changed. Today, I'm breaking down the exact financial numbers for 2026, the Consulate shopping secret that could save your dream, and the plan B you need if Mexico is a no-go.
Okay, let's look at the hard data. Not hype, just the math. And I gotta tell you, 2026 is looking tough.
Mexico requires you to prove economic solvency for residency. Historically, this number was pegged to the Mexican minimum wage. For years, that wage was very low, so the income requirement for us was also very low. But the current Mexican administration has aggressively raised the minimum wage. This is great for Mexican workers, but for us retirees, it's created an accidental problem. The income requirement for a temporary resident visa has skyrocketed. Because individual Mexican consulates can apply income requirement rules differently, for a while the smart move was to consulate shop. That is, look for consulates using the UMA, an inflation index that is lower than the minimum wage. We hoped this would keep income requirements low, but the government is catching on. According to the latest updates, the government is now requiring consulates to switch to the UMA index, a process that will take some time. However, instead of the income requirement dropping significantly, it looks like they're adjusting the formula to keep the income requirement around where it is today. For 2026, the income target for temporary residency is coalescing around $4,200 to $4,400 US per month under the new UMA formula, and up to $5,100 a month for consulates using the minimum wage formula. Let that sink in. That is at least double the average Social Security check of $2,012. If you are relying on monthly income from Social Security alone, the door is closing. And if you are hoping to apply for permanent residency right out of the gate, you're looking at proving over $7,000 US a month in income. For most of us, that's simply impossible.
But wait, before you panic about those permanent residency numbers, you need to know about a loophole that changes everything.
You do not need to qualify for permanent residency on day one. If you can just clear the hurdle for temporary residency today, you are generally set for life. Here's the rule. Under current Mexican immigration law, once you hold a temporary resident card for 4 consecutive years, you can convert to permanent residency. And here's the kicker. You generally do not have to prove financial solvency again. The transition is based on time served, not your bank account. So even if your income never rises to that scary $7,000 number, as long as you maintain your temporary status for 4 years, you'll likely qualify for permanent status. You just have to survive the hurdle once. But that still leaves us with a problem. How do you clear that first hurdle if your income is only around $2,000 to $3,000 a month? Is it game over? Well, no, because there are 2 backdoors that the flashy YouTube influencers often forget to mention.
This channel is for people with Social Security and a small nest egg. And that nest egg could be your golden ticket.
Mexican immigration law allows you to prove solvency through savings instead of monthly income. You don't need to spend this money, you just need to show it's there. For temporary residency, the magic number for 2026 is hovering around 70,000 to 75,000 US dollars in a bank or investment account. This needs to be the average balance over the last 12 months. This is huge. You might only get $2,000 a month from Social Security, which disqualifies you on income. But if you have an IRA, a 401k, or savings of $75,000, you qualify. This is the most common way my viewers are getting approved today. They use the asset test, not the income test.
Now, here's the secret sauce. The geopension approach is about separating rumors from reality, and that applies to bureaucracy too.
We used to tell you to shop around and find a cheap consulate, but in 2026, consulate shopping isn't about finding a bargain. It's about avoiding a trap. In 2026, the minimum wage in Mexico is rising by another 12 to 13%. If you find a consulate that is lazy and sticks to the old minimum wage formula, they could ask you for over $5,100 US a month. Your job is to find a consulate that has adopted the UMA standard. It won't get you down to $2,000 a month, but it will likely cap the requirement in the $4,300 range. That's an $800 a month difference. That matters. It could be the difference between qualifying or not. So, do your homework. Email the consulate directly. Ask, do you calculate solvency based on the minimum wage or the UMA? You are looking for the UMA answer to save yourself from the inflation spike. Do your research before you book your appointment. Check their specific website. Print out their requirements. If one door is locked, try the window.
But let's be realistic. What if you don't have $75K in savings and your income is $2,000 to $3,000 a month and you can't find a lenient consulate? What then? Well, you have two options. Option one is the forever tourist or the slow traveler.
You can enter Mexico on a tourist permit. Historically, this was 180 days, guaranteed. But warning, this is changing. Immigration agents at the airport now have discretion. They might give you 30 days. They might give you 180. You can't count on living in Mexico full-time as a tourist anymore. But you can do the snowbird method, 6 months in Mexico if granted and 6 months back home. Or you could try the increasingly popular approach of permanently slow traveling in other low-cost countries popular with retirees in Southern and Eastern Europe, South America, or Southeast Asia, making Mexico part of your annual rotation.
Option two is the pivot. If Mexico has priced you out, look at countries that have not. For example, Panama.
In Panama, the Pensionado program is the gold standard for retirees. The income requirement? Just $1,000 US a month. That's it. Plus additional $250 for your spouse. If Mexico is the goal, fight for it using the savings route. But if the goal is simply a better life abroad, Panama is waving you in, while Mexico is putting up a velvet rope. Affordable retirement abroad is still very achievable, but the days of just showing up with a suitcase and a smile are ending. You need a strategy. Mexico is still my top pick if you can clear these financial hurdles. The cost of living once you are there is still incredibly affordable. You can live well on $1,500 a month. It's just getting through the front door that's expensive. If overseas retirement is already on your radar and you want a structured way to run your own numbers and compare countries step by step, my course, Mastering Affordable Retirement Abroad, walks through budgets, visas, healthcare, and decision checklists in much more detail. You'll find the link in the description below or go to affordableretirementabroad.com/course. If you found this research helpful, please like and subscribe. It helps me build this community of realistic retirees.
Thanks for watching and see you in the next video appearing on your screen right now.